China has tens of thousands of hydropower projects, far more than any other country in the world. But all of them will be overshadowed by its latest megastructure under construction in the Tibetan Plateau. The Mêdog hydropower station is being called the dam of all dams. It's said to be a huge source of green energy for China. So why is it raising so many concerns from environmentalists and its neighbor, India? I'm Divya Gopalan, and you're watching Connected on Taiwan Plus. To understand the technology behind the Mêdog Dam, as well as the challenges ahead for the Tibetan region and downstream countries, we are joined by Dechen Palmo, Research Fellow at the Environment and Development Desk of the Tibet Policy Institute from Dharamshala in India, and from Vadodara in Western India's Gujarat state, we have Neeraj Singh Manhas. He's the Special Advisor for South Asia at the Parley Policy Initiative. Great to have you both on the program, and I'm going to start with you, Neeraj. China describes this dam as the project of the century. Can you take us through the key technological features that make this project so ambitious?
So Divya, it is a huge dam project on the Yarlung Tsangpo river in Tibet. This river becomes Brahmaputra in India, and the plan is to produce a massive 300 billion kilowatt hours of electricity every year. So it is very much enough to, this is so much of energy that it can enough to light up the whole country like the UK. So now what's the special about it? They are digging long tunnels here, about 15 to 20 kilometers each. So through these big mountains called Namcha Barwa. So now imagine, carving a huge pipeline through a rocky, shaky mountain to carry half of the river's water. So around 2,000 cubic meters per second. So filling up thousands of buckets in a snap. So these tunnels send water to 5 hydropower station built, one after another. So it's like steps on a ladder. So each station uses the water speed and the height to spin the turbines, and it helps to generate electricity. So now why this is a big deal? So first of all, it's a very huge, expensive project with a worth of $167 billion, which is way more than the other projects which are, been there. So secondly, and it is being built on a very tough geographical location. The area is very much remote with, the earthquake and the landslide, which are very much prone to this area. So which makes it very risky and hard to pull off.
Neeraj has pointed out a few key features that this dam will have that make it quite impressive and set it apart from perhaps other dams in the world. But what would you say the key issue here is in Tibet, given that Tibet already has, or China has already built other dams in the Tibetan region? What sets it really apart aside from size?
Although the Chinese government, officially they have not released any information about the dam design or hydropower project design, or any impact assessment on this particular project. However, this project, although there are a number of dams the Chinese government have built so far, as you have mentioned earlier, China has the largest number of dams in the world, whole combined together. China has more dam than the other countries together. So these dams, once built, it would be the world's largest, and moreover, the place where they're building, it's more of concerning issue, because as China already have the world's largest dam now, 3 gorgeous dam, and it has already displaced numbers of population, more than 1 million people were dislocated because of this dam. Now the Chinese government, they are planning to build this dam on the fragile ecology of the Tibetan Plateau. And it's, as we have already known, that the Tibetan Plateau, where the Chinese government, they are planning to build dam, the region is very sensitive and also very, environmental very biodiverse. So if building such dams in this unique region, it will have huge impact on the environment as well as to the population living there, as well as to the downstream countries.
Right, the sheer size of it. Neeraj, the project involves constructing 5 cascading hydropower stations. From an engineering perspective, given the location, the altitude, and perhaps the remoteness of it, what do you think are the biggest challenges that China has had to overcome to get this and will have to get this online?
So rightly mentioned by Dechen also, because, first of all, the location is a nightmare. So Tibet's Grand Canyon, where this is going to happen is a super remote. So, you think of the rugged mountains where there is no proper roads, no, the weather is very much harsh, getting vehicles, cement, workers, and there is, everything, let's suppose you are planning to track on a Everest base mountain. So, but for thousands of people, tons of equipment. So at a very high altitude, which is over 3,000 meters, where the air is also very thin. So workers tire out very much fast and machines don't run as well. So it's tough to keep things moving smoothly. Secondly, the area is very much shaky. Literally, the Namcha Barwa mountains sit on a tectonic plates boundary. And so the earthquakes are very much common. So eventually, when the announcement of Mêdog County was happened in December 2024, eventually in 2025 January, we have seen that in the Tibet we have had a huge earthquake with a magnitude of 7.5. So let's assume if this the digging of 20-kilometer tunnels along the building of 5 power stations are being constructed. So which makes things very much risky. So one wrong move and you could have collapse or disaster. You'll have a lot of things, all the design and the super strong foundation, which is on the, that terrain will be totally dead. Thirdly, the river itself is a very much wide. The Yarlung Tsangpo drops 2,000 meters in a very short stretch, which is very much fast, powerful, and the water flows from a 2,000 cubic meters per second. So controlling that feed and cascading station without flooding or damaging equipment, so it becomes a very huge challenge. So each station are depend on each one of them. The whole system could go down if one faulty things happen. So finally, the environment also adds a more headache to the situation. So it's a biodiversity hotspot where where are different rare plants, animals, and the construction will definitely is going to wreck the ecosystem. So harsh winters, monsoons, so all of these situation makes very much more difficult and the tricky also. And the amount, the $167 billion, that cost means every delay burns very serious money.
And definitely some great points there. But I want to dig in a little bit to the ecology there. China says, Dechen, that it is doing everything it can to make sure that it is environmentally sustainable and it preserves the ecology. What are you seeing from your research?
Yeah, as China have already done a lot of research on this area where they're planning to build the hydropower project, but it is important to China to bring out the environmental impact assessment of the project. However, the Chinese government have not disclosed any information regarding this, and the region where they're planning to build dam is already very environmentally very biodiverse and very sensitive also. So by building such a dam, can also building such a huge project will submerge so much of water, forests and the others, those endemic plants and those animal species, different animal species, it might get submerged under the water. So this can also lead to the cutting of migration route for those different species. And there are many large carnivorous animals like snow leopards, the Bengal tiger and Tibetan wolf and different kind of leopards who are living in this region. But with this building such a huge hydropower project, it will destroy the natural habitat of these different species. And moreover, also by having so much of construction going on in this region, it can also lead to the increase in the noise and infrastructure related issue. It will cause human and wildlife conflict. So these all like dynamic have a huge impact on the environment as well as people living in those regions. And moreover, as Neeraj has earlier mentioned about the project where the Chinese government, they will bring more number of Chinese workers in the area. Since the region where they plan to build dam, the Yingti area, we have very less populated, and Chinese government to build such a huge hydropower project, they need manpower. So there is the chances of bringing people from China, laborers from China to Tibet. So these will be there will be a huge migration of Chinese workers in this area, and it will be a more problem with the people as well as to the animals and the plants, overall region as a whole. Yeah.
China says that this project is going to get it to its green energy goals. It's going to increase its renewable on such a scale that we're going to see coal power hugely decreased. And so, pollution and whatever else comes with fossil fuels, the impact of that will be mitigated to a certain extent. So all the effort going in right now, and perhaps all the destruction right now we're seeing that you both have mentioned, is there an argument to say that in the long run it will pay off?
Okay, Divya, on one hand, the dam's green pitch makes more sense, but it's set to generate, the 300 billion kilowatt hours of electricity annually. Yeah, enough of power, which it can give to millions of homes without burning coal or gas. That's a big win for cutting, the carbon emissions. And for China, pushing hard for hydropower to hit its 2060 carbon neutral goal is also sense. But here is a catch. Building this beast is anything but green, because constructing 5 cascades of power station and 20 kilometers of these tunnels through Namcha Barwa mountains needs a massive amount of cement, steel, and the heavy machinery. So all of which, guzzle the energy and produce huge carbon emission. So think of those thousands of trucks, cranes, running for years in remote Tibet, near the Tibetan Canyon. And, the studies estimates that this project is going to be completed by 2035. So you can well imagine the project have just, the Premier Li Qiang has just said that on 19th of July, the construction has just begun. So now by 2035, the huge carbon emission, which, all the trucks, heavy machinery, cement and steel would produce, nobody's talking about that. So on a one hand, China is talking about the get away with the carbon emission. But on the another hand, the huge kind devastation or destruction which is going to impact the ecosystem and the surrounding, nobody's talking about. So there is an ecological damage, and the Yarlung Tsangpo diversity is a huge hotspot which is the Dechen also mentioned about the rare species of animals which are being found there. So digging tunnels, damming the river could definitely wreck the habitats, disrupt fish migration also, and the ecosystem also. And for India, that hits more home because the river becomes our Brahmaputra in India. And any upper stream damage could harm, the lower Assam or the Arunachal wild wetlands and the wildlife also. Plus, it is going to alter the river's flow, which cause the sediments build up or the water storage also, which is not going to be the eco-friendly.